Hey y'all, it's your Queen J Lotus coming through right quick, right fast, maybe, with May's Major Life Lessons for Virgo, okay? And child, without further ado, we gonna go ahead and get into, ooh, we gonna start with this good Knight of Swords in reverse, to the left, to the left. Ooh, everything you want in the box, to the left, to the left, to the left. Y'all, I'm clairaudient, and Beyonce is a Virgo. That song did not just come to mind by mistake. That is not a coincidence. So, if you've been thinking about cutting somebody off, putting somebody out, putting somebody in their place, child, you got the right order, okay? You got the right order. Now, for some of you, you're in the space of wanting to cut some people off because these people don't encourage you to think higher of yourself, or they don't reflect how good you see yourself now. Like in the past, you probably thought less of yourself, functioned on a lesser wavelength, and now you recognize the growth that you've had, and you recognize that you have grown out of certain people and things. So for some of you, this doesn't even have to be a like chaotically confrontational type thing. For many of you, can really be a simple conversation, or not much of a conversation at all. Just simply like removing yourselves from people and extending love in the process, or extending no energy at all to people who don't deserve it. For others of you, it's somewhat the same thing, but it's more so some of you recognizing that you've been surrounded by enablers. You've been surrounded by people where you're the smartest person in the room, and you started to recognize that a lot of that has brought out the worst in you and has influenced you to operate on somewhat of a abusive frequency, if you will, or manipulative frequency, or like bully type frequency. And y'all are genuinely ready to change that. Y'all are genuinely ready to be around people who will challenge you and who will hold you accountable, and who will also still truthfully pour into you in positive ways. And with that being said, it segues us perfectly into the Fool card, which is about leaps of faith, okay? And y'all need to take leaps of faith in the direction of, like I just said, putting yourself around different groups of people that will challenge you, that will challenge your beliefs, that will challenge your comfortability. And really watch what you end up proving to yourself that you are made of. Like something, you know? Because it seems as though some of you, or many of you, earth signs tend to be resistant to change. And so many of you may have gotten comfortable being the big fish in the pond, being the smartest person in the room, like I mentioned. And or many of you formed an attachment to arguing with people because you know you can win. So it's kind of like any opportunity you got to argue, go back and forth, debate, you took it. And that means even like associating with people that provoke you. And for many of you, this has been like a subconscious thing, something that you kind of didn't realize that you were doing. You just got in the habit of it. And like I said, people around you were enabling you to do so because they like and often want any type of energy out of you. They want to say that they have been around you, that they have exchanged energy, exchanged words, or whatever would have you with you in any type of way, whether it's in a good way or a bad way. You've been surrounded by people that just want to say they've been in your presence. They just want to say that they know you, or that they knew you, had some form of interaction with you. It's very weird. It's very weird, but it's because many of you have superstar energy. You have very popular energy, and Virgos tend to be the popular kids, tend to be, even though Virgos tend to be like very introverted, for some reason people just really like to gaze at y'all and look at y'all. It's similar to Leos, how Leos demand attention effortlessly. Like they don't have to do anything for people to look at them. They, we just walk into a room and people stare at us like they've seen the second coming of Christ type shit. So like Leos, Virgos Cancers and Scorpios tend to have that effect on people. Or you can just literally be minding your business and you attract all types of people. And this can also kind of cause you to be a bit confused about where you fit in, where you should fit in, where you should go, how you should operate, who you should listen to, who you should trust. And that's what many of you have been dealing with and have been having experiences that make you more aware of it. And May is going to bring you more experiences to make you more aware of who to trust and where to flow and when to flow, because it's also, a time and a place for everything. So you need a little bit of everything, and Spirit is helping y'all learn the specificities of that this month of May. So just like that, one of y'all's major life lessons is surrounding time and place. Time and place as it concerns where you're putting your energy and who you're allowing in your energy. So y'all will likely be in and out of hermit mode throughout this month of May. It will likely be a pattern for many of you where you go out for a certain number of consecutive days and you stay in for a certain amount of consecutive days and just reflect and rejuvenate, and you just go back and forth like that. Some of you may even take a vacation and then come back and go into hermit mode. You may not even let anybody know that you left, and you may not even let anybody know that you came back. And all of this will help you balance out your fun times. It'll help you balance out your creativity and just help you woosah. Also just help you relax and release and just be, as well as helping you all be able to really reflect and rejuvenate in more potent ways. So May is also giving some lessons surrounding self-healing. So many of you will be getting much better at self-healing and self-rejuvenation and how to do that in ways that's best for you and that is like directly tied to your specific spiritual gifts. And so since my clairaudience kicked in early AF in this reading, many of you, this may be confirmation that y'all are clairaudient. And so you may want to do your research on that and see how you can enhance that for yourself and how that also has naturally been showing up for yourself and throughout your experiences and throughout your life. And the meditations and reflections and the rejuvenation periods, it's going to make you more aware of that, but also at the same time the interactions that you have. So when you're interacting with people and when you're going out and you're traveling and you do your mingling and all that whatnot, pay very close attention to the things that your mind both whispers to you and screams at you when you're interacting with people. So pay very close attention to your inner voice, that is. And then when you meditate, replay those instances in your head as you meditate, and Spirit and your higher self is bound to, with clarity, have a full-fledged conversation, and that is going to help your clairaudience and enhance single-handedly and make you more aware of how exactly your clairaudience works for you specifically. Okay, so real nice, just like that. First major life lesson surrounding time and place, where you're giving your energy to, who you allow in it. And then the second one concerning your intuition and spiritual gifts, specifically concerning clairaudience. Okay, so moving on, I think that perfectly segues us into the health card, which is a past life oracle card. So this is a need for you all to do more research and reevaluation on your family's generational health. Wealth as well, but health. Look at your family's health history and start seeing what are some good habits that your family has maintained and what are the bad habits that has contributed to spiritual sickness as well as physical sickness throughout the generations of your bloodline and your family tree and all that. And Spirit through the month of May is going to be, like I said, taking you through different interactions where you have to pay very close attention to the conversations that you're having and to the conversations that are being had around you, because those things are going to be pointing you in the direction and also seamlessly giving you hints and clues of what you need to be researching, thinking about, reevaluating, and reforming for yourself. And these are all going to help improve your health. And just like that, when you improve your health, you end up improving your wealth, and you also end up improving whatever spiritual gifts you have, and it becomes this infinitive flow of abundance. Also, I just keep hearing holistic. So definitely expand your horizon and expand your research and studying on holistic healing. And I'm also seeing that many of you have a green thumb. So I'm getting green witch energy. I'm getting herbalist energy. So if you've been thinking about getting into that, if you've been thinking about getting a plant, starting a garden, if you've been thinking about learning more about herbs so that you can heal others or heal yourself, and also like put together different concoctions, teas, juices, elixirs, liquid vitamins, liquid IV type situations, this is confirmation as well that is something for you to start getting into, because it's definitely giving apothecarian vibe. If you don't know what that means, look it up. Hopping on over into the next past life oracle card, which is ships. So this is more research and reevaluation on your family history, your bloodline, your ancestors, and all that, specifically as it concerns pioneers of your bloodline. So, and to elaborate, what that is meaning here is look at the professions and or the talents that many people in your family have, and whatever the majority is. Like, for instance, if you have a lot of family members that are mechanics, or you have a lot of family members that are musicians, or you have a lot of family members that are able to draw or decorate very well, you have a lot of family members that are dancers, or you have a lot of family members that are sorority and fraternity legacy, things of that nature. Look at those types of things, see what your family specialties are and what predominantly shows up, and start doing research on the different cultures and tribes that are connected to those things, because that is going to make you more clear on how your ancestors show up, who your ancestors are, who your soul family is, what you should be doing with your life, like whether you should go in that same direction, or if you should trailblaze and start anew with your own specialities and your own interests and things of that nature. And also, the purpose of that is becoming more aware and clear of who you are and where you come from, and again, what you are capable of, what you are made of. So it looked like May is overall trying to give y'all major life lessons of who you are, where you come from, and what you're made of and what you're capable of. Interesting. Now, also, for many of you, you also want to do some research on post-traumatic slave disorder, and you may also want to get into seeking professional help. And when you seek that professional help, be it holistic, quote-unquote traditional psychiatry, life coaching, whatever, what have you, you can also do both. Both are encouraged and both will help. Again, like I said, you need a little bit of everything for a balance. And it's a time and a place for everything. So yeah, when you get in your sessions with your psychiatrist or your life coach or your holistic practitioner, whatever, what have you, make sure you are bringing up the post-traumatic slave disorder of it all. Post-traumatic stress disorder as well, but specifically post-traumatic slave disorder, because for Black people specifically and other people of color who have been through chattel slavery, your ancestors and all of that, our ancestors, and in certain places, our long lost brothers, sisters, cousins, and all of that are still going through some of that in certain places, and it shows up that post-traumatic slave disorder functionality, it shows up a lot in everyday life, casually, in the way that people function at work, school, and relationships and friendships and parent-child dynamics, all that, teacher-student dynamics, all of that, their post-traumatic stress disorder, post-traumatic slave disorder specifically, it shows up in a whole lot of ways that many of us don't notice, one, until it's too late, or don't ever notice at all. And that's why Spirit is bringing it up here. I've been seeing it pop up a lot more in general, but it's bringing it up here specifically because it's specifically something that the Virgo collective is meant to advocate for and bring more awareness to. And I think that honestly makes sense, because Virgos are the wordsmiths of the zodiac. And Virgos have that good ability of presentation and knowing exactly how to say things and get people to listen, and not only listen but also take action and capitalize off of all of it, you know? And so definitely tapping into your more evolved traits of Virgo overall. But yeah, all of that to say, this past life oracle card concerning ships is all about learning about your heritage more and how that brings together the different dimensions of who you are, deciding whether or not you want to follow the trend of that or if you only want to take certain things from it, and then trailblaze off and start your own legacy. And tisk, okay? And it just came through. That's not a coincidence. So this is something that has been popping up in other readings. It hasn't came up in the zodiac readings that I've been doing for this, but in other pick a cards, it's come up. So what that is some of you may be in that group of people, the group of millennials in particular, that are meant to break completely away from your blood family. For some of y'all, it may be meant for y'all to completely exile yourself. And what I mean is to a point of changing your name, your first and last name, getting citizenship elsewhere, or even just moving to a completely different region of the country. Just completely removing yourself and recreating and reforming yourself and starting your own tribe. So if you've been having those thoughts or coming across articles or people talking about such a thing, you're on the right track. Now, it ain't all, you know what I'm saying? It may not be easy, but it's doable, it's possible, and it's meant for some of you to do. And I wish you the best on that journey as well. And Spirit is saying that the reason why it may be the purpose for some of you, or necessary to do for the sake of your health, wealth, abundance, relationship with yourself, the relationships that you will eventually attract with other people. The reason why Spirit is leading some of you to break off and start your own tribe and start a new life with a new identity and all of that is because, I'm just gonna be honest, your bloodline which you come from has gotten so corrupt and polluted that it's at the point of no return, and it's gonna take an act of God to rectify that. And ultimately, the act that's being put in play is for you, those of you that are resonating with this message, is for you to hold the bloodline accountable by breaking it off and starting anew. And that will evoke and assist your divine realm in being more able and more within divine right to do what is needed to heal that bloodline. And honestly, for some of you, the bloodline just needs to be deaded. The bloodline just needs to be gone. And a part of why that is because of slavery. And that's why it's meant for many of you to do research on that. For some of you, it's attached to slavery. And either slavery concerning having African and or people of color ancestors who did heinous crimes when it concerned their own people, and I'm just gonna be honest, potentially selling their own people into slavery to the Europeans and the French and things of that nature, or ancestors participating in elitism, in violence and heinous ways. And for some of you, it's coming from the it's so dark I can't even really put it into words, but basically what was done to ancestors of some of you alls that were in slavery, what was done to them by the white slave masters, and just all of the curses and trauma dealt upon the bloodline that just end up reaping so much havoc and turmoil. And for some of you in that category, it's showing up that many of your family members, your ancestors, got so consumed by trauma that they chose to become what they despise. So this is also picking up ancestors that were slaves at one point, and they did some acts of betrayal, if you will, to get in better favor of the slave masters, and essentially became slave masters themselves. And so that's a part of also why it's meant for many of you to do more research on that. And if you want to see how you fit or resonate in that category, do research on your last name. Do as much research on your last name as you can. Okay? For others of you that are, in that category of bloodlines that essentially have to be broken off, it's coming from some gang activity. Again, it parallels much of the channeled scenarios that I've already mentioned. But the 80s crack era. For some of you, the 60s drug era, and the civil rights movement and all of that was going on. So for some of you, do more research on the 60s and the historical happenings of that time, the drug elements of that time, and also do some research and snooping and eavesdropping and question asking and all of that to see how members of your family fit into those happenings and time periods, as well as some of you need to do research of that same caliber on the 80s era, and specifically the crack and HIV/AIDS epidemic. You need to do research on that and see how members of your family fit into that category, and that will give you more indication on why things became of your family as it has and as it did, and it'll give you more indication on why the bloodline needs to be broken off. So those specific messages may not apply to everyone. So like I said, take what resonates and leave the rest where it is, child. Make use of it how you can and how you will. And for the last card, baby, we got get the fuck out your head. Get the fuck out of your head. The other side of that card, I didn't get a chance to take a picture of it, but the other side of that card says your heart needs you. It says something like that. It says something about your heart needing you. And yes, your heart needs you because your heart is also going to help you enhance your intuition and enhance your spiritual gifts, because the more aware you become about your feelings and your emotions and how that plays out in your relationships, and how people that you have relationships with, how they use their heart space or neglect to use their heart space with you, it's going to give you more indication about yourself, where you come from, and more indication on how to use and enhance your spiritual gifts, your intuition, your crown chakra, all of that. And Spirit is also saying that many of you have struggled with anxiety and overthinking, and how you end up getting so trapped up in your head. For one, it's trauma, the boatload of generational trauma and generational curses, things of that nature that have been passed down so heavily, that have been passed down, that have been normalized, and all of that. And also, for others of you, it's also and or attached to being multifaceted and having so many options and attracting so many types of backgrounds, so many different types of people, so many different types of opportunities. And so, like I said, it puts you in a state of not knowing what to choose, which way to go, where you truly fit in, or who and what to trust. And that is a major reason why y'all's major life lessons for May overall concern learning more about yourself, who you are, where you come from, and where you want to go. In a nutshell, child, in a nutshell, that's what it's giving. And all of that is going to help you evolve and balance all of your multifacetedness. And it's going to help you redirect and transmute your energy, your situations, and your resources towards the proper, divine, purposeful areas and aspects and relationships to the divine dynamic and destination in which they need to be and go. And in order to do that, overall, for the collective, is causing you to do some mingling, some hermit mode, and ultimately changing your surroundings and the people that you surround yourself with drastically. So May is going to be all about taking leaps of faith out of your comfort zone. And with all that being said, child, if I do say so myself, honey, I have milked this cow dry. and I am thoroughly appreciative for the exchange of vibes. And if you're feeling synchronized, please do me a divine design and like, share, and subscribe. And be sure to bless my comment section with your questions and conversations. And as always, I bid you all light, love, healing, and liberation. Emphasis on liberation. Mwah.